Rami is a big question mark because everybody wonders how his lats will be improved because there's a nerve damage obviously over there. Allegedly from a cervical hernia that affects also the brachial plexus and the nerves like going nerve and then give the nerve supply to the latissimus dorsi.
Right.
But besides that, we have to admit that Rami doesn't look good over 300 pounds. He wants you still India below. He was 290, all right, or 280 something, 285. Both times he won, So he doesn't look good bigger because he gets blurry to the thighs, He had a triangle glutes, but it's about the lower back, the inner thighs. That always there was a problem with the separation of the muscles.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll see what happens. We got just a few more days, and we'll find out if Rami can be back on top, win the Arnold Classic. That puts him in a good spot to get his Olympia title back. If Nick Walker,
people believe that Rami did that stem cell for the next Olympia because it was kind of investment,
Yeah.
But it's too soon. I mean, just 2.5 months right after the O to be ready again to pick again.
Yeah. I mean, all these guys that did the Olympia and they're doing this, which is most of them were in the Olympia. I take my hat off to them. That's a lot of prep. They were already in prep 4 months for the Olympia. Some of them even longer because some of them had to qualify for the Olympia. So they were doing other shows. So these guys, they're really working hard, very, very hard to do this, Arnold. But man, Doc, we have some great questions. We got a lot of questions. So let's get into it. The first one is a question about your training system. It says, I follow Dr. Touliatos' method of using a variety of exercises for each body part. I train 3 to 4 body parts each session, usually 3 sets per exercise. My question, is it better to do all the exercises for one body part, then go to the next body part, or switch them up to give one body part time to rest before the next exercise?
Oh, listen, there's a misunderstanding here. I do a wide variety of exercises, but just from one muscle group. This guy mixes several. It's not possible, of course.
Okay.
All right, so pick up many exercises and do 1 or 2 sets of the one would be super low, 6 to 8, and the other would be 12 to 15. Okay, to hit different type of fibers.
Yeah.
But obviously, we send the blood only to one muscle group. Okay. You have to destroy your pecs, and they have to be sore for several days after. Now, in order to train twice a muscle group, you need to train 6 times a week, which is horrible. It's savage.
A lot.
And in order to rest, you need plenty of time, not too much work, sleep well, which is not easy when you're a really busy guy.
Right. Yeah.
So it's different approach. So I just do one muscle group. If I do pairs of muscle group, let's say chest and triceps or back and biceps, or let's say, traps and the delts are always engaged, together. But the pushing movements with the chest and the pulling movements with the back, obviously you cannot do all the exercises. So we do some. I collect, let's say, the free weight exercises instead of the cables.
Okay.
When I'm doing one muscle group, man, I pick everything. It's for every possible angle. 1 set incline, 1 set decline, 1 set flat, with barbell, with dumbbells, everything. And I want to give it, but I give it all to the set. I don't want to repeat something that is not to failure.
Yeah. So that's good. You cleared it up because I think he thought you meant you'd do like a set for back, a set for chest, a set for, this and that, back and forth, back and forth.
Warm up is another thing, okay? After you warm up, then you go all the way to failure, okay?
Yeah. Okay. This is a question. I've never heard this. I've heard this term and I don't know what it means. So I'm hoping you can explain. What's the difference between bioidentical hormones, BHRT versus TRT?
Listen, the bioidentical hormones refer to the creams. So either estrogens or testosterone. And they're called bioidentical because they're very similar to structure to the natural hormone that the organism releases. And usually they're made from non-synthetic materials, like from, they're kind of organic stuff, While the synthetic is the injectable and it's not 100% familiar to the system. It's something in synthetic. The bioidentical is something very familiar. And theoretically, it cannot create any kind of, mutation, let's say. Of course, there are people that are not using the cream. So what? Are they condemned? No, I don't think so. Well, if you're using the bioidentical liposomal cream, you're sure that you're giving something extra special. Of course, there are creams that are not bioidentical. They're made. Here we go again now.
That's okay. Keep talking. We can hear you.
Yeah. So there are also creams that are not bioidentical, but they're other quality, lower quality perhaps. They're coming from the pharmacy straight, because usually the bioidentical hormones are the ones synthesized as compounding stuff.
Yeah.
So from a private chemist that sells to the pharmacy instead of the FDA, let's say, of the state. Gotcha. So the creams that come from the pharmacy prescribed from the doctors of the FDA staff, they're not bioidentical, I think so. Bioidentical come from compounding pharmacies.
Okay, gotcha. And next one is, what are the best supplements for prostate and kidney health? What about the best supplements for cardiovascular health, lowering LDL and raising HDL?
Yeah, we've said that numerous times about the lipids. So for HDL, it's the niacin, could be also krill oil. And for the LDL, it's red rice yeast, polycosonol, bergamot, resveratrol. Of course, fiber. The EFAs are for the triglycerides also. And now there's no such a thing for the kidneys, but for the prostate, you can use supplemental and lycopene.
Yeah.
Now, supplemental basically blocks the DHT, and lycopene is good for the prevention against the prostatic cancer.
And that lycopene is also found in tomatoes, correct?
Yes, exactly. Tomatoes and watermelon.
Oh, okay. A lot of us eat a lot of pasta sauce or that tomato sauce.
In the pasta sauce, not in the tomato itself, but in the sauce of the tomato.
So, guys, pizza is good for your prostate. Yeah, didn't know that. Yeah.
Pizza is not good because actually saturated fats are not good for the prostate.
I know, it's horrible. It's delicious though. Okay, there you go. You're back. Next question: It's like
the Star Trek.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. You got some future. I think the future is trying to invade on your video today. Does HCG have to be refrigerated before it has been reconstituted? Before I mix the HCG powder with the solvent, can I keep it outside the fridge at room temperature, even if it's hot or warm inside? So I think it just means the powder. It's a little glass bottle like GH, isn't it?
As long as it's not mixed.
Yeah, not mixed, just the powder.
Yeah, you can store it in the room temperature.
Okay.
But when you mix it has to be refrigerated.
Yeah. And how long do you say it stays good for?
Well, my pen now, because I was fortunate to get the last piece from the pen, before it gets expired. So one pen lasts for me almost 1 month, because it's 1 click every day I'm using.
Yeah.
So yes, for a month.
Oh wow, okay, it's a good. Huh? Next one. Can you explain elevated CK levels for an enhanced bodybuilder? I'm on 500 tests and 250 NPP. I had 3 days off training and got blood tests for the doctor. The elevated CK was 1600.1300, above high range marker. Does this mean I'm training too much and too much muscle breakdown? I do feel a bit overtrained and muscles are flat.
Yeah, obviously this guy, even though he took off 3 days from training, it was not enough. And imagine how much overtrained he was suffering right after his workout. So yeah, it's not cool when you're not enhanced. It means that you're breaking down your system, and also this affects your kidneys and your liver. We said that before, but most likely your growth,
Yeah.
Your recuperation.
Is that a very high CK level, 1600?
Yeah, it's over 1,000. It's a lot. Yeah, for digital is a lot.
Anything over 1,000 you should be worried about.
Yeah.
How often do we get this question, Doctor? Hey, Doc. Hey, Ron. Question for both. Please be honest. Because we lie all the time, right?
We're always honest. We're always straight shooters. Yeah. Why should we all this special now? Because they don't believe us that we train for 30 years plus.
Well, I mean, your doses are so low. I don't think anybody believes it. So they say, please both tell us what PEDs you're using right now and what doses. Also, what supplements and drugs are you taking to mitigate the side effects of all the PEDs you're on? This was all detailed in the interview with Dr. T in Mustard.
Exactly. I mean, they get spoiled. They want in every episode to repeat the same things. So my regimen now is 150 testosterone, 30 milligrams of DECA per week.
Yep.
1 proviron a day and 1 anastrozole per week and 2 IUs of GH. Now, take the same stuff, or you not become like me. Why? Because I trained for 35 years, since 1981, since the first Arnold Classic I'm training. All right? I'm supplementing all year round with expensive supplements. I'm dieting for the last almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Before that, I was good about, as I said, I had this extra body fat that didn't reveal my striations. And they have to know that with replacement therapy, you just maintain all the gains before. All right? But it has to be with diet, accompanied with diet. People don't believe it because they are lazy. They cannot diet. They cannot starve. Okay? They cannot live heavily. They don't invest money for supplements,
Yeah.
So
Like I said,
that's why perhaps I don't believe the FB pros when they say I'm using 1 gram of testosterone, not 5.
Yeah.
Because 5 will kill you, and you'll not have the consistency for some years to put the year anyway.
Yeah. So guys, you can go on the musculardevelopment.com website. If you go to the homepage, go back a couple pages in the articles, and I believe you'll find the full article with Dr. T.
Over there, Ron. I said I didn't excuse and not excuse.
Explain.
No. I mean, it was I did how you say it was just for the preparation of the photo shooting with Bernal and Ardenti.
Right.
For 30 days, I used the least dose of Winstrol and Arnold 5 and 10 milligrams, but not anymore. This was only for November.
Right.
Okay. From December 1st, I was just using testosterone, 175 and 50 to 100 milligrams of proviron. So 100 milligrams 2 days before leaving the States. I increased it a lot in order to be drier, but I was afraid of using it for a prolonged period of time to create acne, hair thinning perhaps. Right. But now I implement since the beginning of February, 30 milligrams of DECA 3 times per week. That's all for my joints perhaps.
Okay. And
all right.
They want to know what I'm on. I'm on 280 milligrams of test-cypionate a week, 200 milligrams of DECA a week, a half of anastrozole a week. So it takes me 2 weeks to have a whole anastrozole pill, and 2.5 IUs of GH. And your list of supplements is like a mile long. This is all I take: collagen, peptides, vitamin C, B complex, DHEA, immune support formula, apple cider vinegar, fish oil, a multivitamin mineral for men over 50, and vitamin E. That's all I take. Boom. Booyah. So yeah, that's what we take, guys. we don't have to lie. I'm not trying to sell you anything, so no reason to lie. Here we go. Dr. T, what would you recommend for a first cycle for a 21-year-old?
First of all, I want to ask you, how many years are you training? If you train less than 5, forget about it. How many times you eat a day? If you eat less than 5, forget about it. How many times you train weekly? If you train less than 4, forget about it. But even if you're consistent to all of that, I would say just use testosterone cream. Then go to testosterone injectable. And then try to use some extra pharmaceutical compound like Anadrol, for instance.
Yeah. In the comments, somebody suggested to him that he start out with 250 milligrams of test. And, I said, I'm not an expert. I'll leave this.
The 1 ml.
It's not really enough. I don't think that's enough. That's like barely above a replacement. Wouldn't you want to do a little bit more than that?
No, I don't want to spoil the receptors, I want to give the least stimulus of gear. Okay. Because if you give a lot, I believe you saturating, you spoil the receptors. But you have to feed the body with the least gear in order to make it work. And if you, and this will increase gradually, perhaps your next cycle go to 500 or 750 the first cycle, and then perhaps implement also another steroid.
Yeah.
But from the beginning, no. I was training for 10 years from that. I was using steroids for 9 years before I started using Tremblant.
Wow. Yeah.
So,
Tremblant.
Yeah, 2009 I started using Tremblant.
Yeah. I mean, when I started, there was I never saw a Parabol. I never saw a Parabol amp in my life, but Trend became available for me. I was able to get it around the early 2000s, like 2001 or 2.
Yeah, Finaplix was 202, I think, in muscle development. Finaplix, Finajet, something like that, the acetate. I used also the acetate in 09.
Yeah, that's all that was around for a very long time. Was that an anthate? I don't remember seeing an anthate till about
I used Parabola from another brand, it was Neo Parabola. And actually, my Greek supplier, who also lives in Astoria,
yeah,
I think gave it to somebody that we hosted from Puerto Rico. We're not going to say more than him.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So it's a place and Pacman, Ben Pac.
okay. Well, this is a good. The next question is, what's your opinion on Prohormones? Do they work, or is it a money scheme? Prohormones have been outlawed for years now, so I don't even know if he's talking about real Prohormones. But real Prohormones, doctor, weren't they mostly just oral steroids, 17-alkylated steroids that had been, they weren't classified yet?
I mean, there are hormones that will be metabolized or anabolic steroid metabolites. But I think they are a waste of money. It was something trendy like now the SARMs back then. Of course, it was something brilliant for Patrick to create the androstenedione, but this was not side effect free. Gyno and acne was something in common. HPDA also reduction, suppression.
Right.
But it was something more convenient to use instead of finding a legitimate steroid supplier,
Yeah. Yeah, people loved it. It's funny how many natural bodybuilders were using
Pro. It was no doping free, okay? It was no doping free.
No, they were. They were steroids. They were. I mean, that's why they got outlawed, because they were technically. Yeah. All right, next one. Some people are saying I should do HGH at nighttime. I take it in the morning. Can you please tell me what's the best time?
Well, I'm using it first thing in the morning on empty stomach because it's easier for me to be in low glucose state, because it has a fat burning. This is actually what GH does in first place, is the fat burning. Now, if you shoot it at night, also you split those actually, you get a deep sleep. You get a good recovery. But of course, you shut off your own production, but after your 40s, 50s, you don't have a significant GH release. So if you're able to split the doses 1 or 2 AM PM, but make sure you do it in a low glucose state, because you avoid the insulin resistance and you enhance the fat burning in this environment. So at least 2 hours after your dinner, let's say 11 p.m. before you sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I go to bed around 10:30, and I take mine usually around like 4 in the morning. One time when I get up to pee, I go to the bathroom and get my little syringe and go stick myself and go back to sleep. So that's how I do it. How does DIM, DIM, substance found in broccoli, I believe, help on cycle? What's a good dosage for a man?
Actually, DIM is a very good compound as prevention against breast cancer and prostate cancer in men who use testosterone. Okay, so forget about it. It doesn't work like an aromatase inhibitor. It's anti-estrogenic, but it blocks strong the bad E1 estrogen that is raising with the proliferation of the prostatic cells and the prostate cancer. So you need to block the bad estrogens. It's not about the vagina thing, okay, or getting drier, but it's a prevention thing. And you're using 100 milligrams, let's say. It comes along in broccoli, of course, but with broccoli, you get bloated, you fart a lot, and it's not so pleasant taste.
Yeah, it's gross. I stopped eating broccoli about 20 years ago. I used to eat raw broccoli with every meal. And my God. Oh,
I like to be crunchy because it's healthier, but you know what? When I see a plate with broccoli, along, of course, with my protein, I force myself to eat the broccoli first to finish with that, because it's an obligation. I have to eat for my colon, and for my antioxidant against cancer, also, for the E1, also for the DIM, and then I'm drinking water, of course, to flush it, and then I'm going to enjoy my meals.
Broccoli's not the tastiest food. I mean, I think the only thing worse is kale. Kale tastes like something you're not supposed to be eating, like some leaf off the ground, Ugh.
Yeah, exactly.
Good ED question here. We answered something similar to this, I think, last week. Why would a person have ED when on 200 milligrams Cesip, but not on 100? So that doesn't make any sense to me.
The estrogens are not controlled with 200. So high estrogens lead to reluctant dysfunction. That's why we need to monitor also the estrogens.
Okay. That makes sense.
Or it's not better always, it has to be also the estrogens optimized because they increase.
Right. So maybe they would prescribe a little bit of anastrozole, something like that.
Yeah, or we do the 200 in 5 doses of 40.
That's right. Microdosing seems to keep the estrogen lowered, correct?
You avoid the spike.
So here's a nutrition question. I think this person's a bit mistaken. Let's see. In order to make whey protein a complete protein, can you add peanut butter or whole milk? Supposedly whey is not a complete protein.
Oh my God, who says that?
And is mostly used as fuel, and only 14% is utilized for muscle building. Other meats are utilized around 40% for muscle building, the other percent for fuel. Whey protein is like 110% bioavailable, isn't it? It's higher than like egg albumin, egg white.
Even the whole egg, yeah.
Yeah. So whey protein is very complete. You don't need to add peanut butter.
Concentration on BCAAs. That's why it's anabolic,
Yeah. So you don't need to add anything to whey protein, sir. It's good to go.
And besides peanut butter, there's not plenty in protein, but plenty in fat.
That's true. Yeah. I mean, peanut butter is delicious, but don't go thinking you're doing yourself any favors by putting it in your shakes. Do DHT derivatives such as Winstrol exhibit the effects of DHT, or is it the similarity, or is the similarity removed? Derivatives seem to have a commonality, but don't necessarily mimic the precursor. Also, Winstrol will harden the body, yet Anadrol doesn't necessarily. What accounts for the difference for this family of derivatives?
Listen, about Anadrol, nobody uses Anadrol itself, only in medicine. That's why it's supposed to be a dry drug. But if you combine it with metabolite, with compounds that aromatize off-season, like testosterone, it obviously has high affinity for the estrogen receptors. Now, speaking about Winstrol, is the only anabolic steroid that crashes on aldosterone and there's zero water retention, but this calls in dry joints. So it's an exception, okay? And yes, if you use Primo, if you use Winstrol, Anavar, Provider, Master, they have this kind of antiestrogenic effect like the DHT, but it's not resembling the aromatase inhibitor, which is very potent. There's no synthesis of estrogen itself, from the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
And they don't convert to estrogen, so you're not gonna have this puffiness,
Yeah. Okay. Last question. This is a long one. What is your opinion on OXYTOCIN? I don't see many doctors recommending it. I'm thinking of buying some and trying it. I read in a recent study it can help heal heart problems. It's good for both men and women. And studies show it's very good for the brain. Helps prevent Alzheimer's. Helps a lot with libido. Makes you horny. Well, that would be the same thing. Increases your sexual appetite and desire. Again, the same thing. Makes you more loving and more focused by increasing dopamine and serotonin. What is your take on this? And what would a recommended dose be? So oxytocin, isn't that the hormone that like women release during orgasm or something? Am I wrong?
Yeah, and also during lactating. But recently, here talking send me a message on Instagram speaking about the oxytocin. And if the hormone of embracement, increases when we embrace.
Yeah.
And it's the most important hormone along with DHT during ejaculation. It increases after ejaculation, that's why we keep to hug each other, even though my girlfriend says, please hug me now. I'm telling her, leave me alone. I want to go straight to the bathroom, okay, and pick up my cell phone after I have sex.
What about make me a sandwich? But I'm getting in trouble for that one. But I've never heard of people taking oxytocin, like people.
I don't think so. I mean, perhaps your dog has oxytocin part of the BHRT regimen, but he also said that people who don't take jokes, who don't take compliments, or they're very touchy and they get really furious when they're doing fun to them. They are very low in oxytocin.
But I mean, have you heard of people being prescribed? I didn't know you could take oxytocin.
Not oxytocin in particular, no.
Yeah, is it a drug? I mean, I've never heard of it. Is there an actual synthetic version that they give people?
Well, I have to ask Dr. Hertog, but it's if you're low in oxytocin, then you don't take jokes, you don't take compliments, you know, and you don't have this kind of tenderness, and you want to hug your sexual partner, you know.
Okay, I asked this guy to clarify, and he said oxytocin systemic treatment significantly shortened the latency to the first mount, intermission sounds like a horse, and ejaculation, suggesting
no, this is about prolactin. The refractory period between two ejaculation depends on prolactin that suppresses testosterone.
Okay.
All right.
So, okay, so he says women have higher doses, blah, blah, blah. He says you can buy oxytocin and inject it or use it as a nasal spray to boost all that I said earlier and more.
I have no idea.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oxytocin, that's a brand. That's a new one to me. Yeah, even you. So I guess, guys, if you want to try it, good luck to you. So that is it, Doctor. I will talk to you after the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio. Woo! It's going to be a great show. I'll give you my full report. It's going to be me and the Boston Mass, Jose Raymond, doing all the coverage for muscular development. So, yeah, you'll be there in spirit, Doctor. Yeah, if not in person. So, guys, get that book, The Bible of Bodybuilding 2. Check out all our great programming here by turning on your notification bell, subscribe to the channel, like the video, share this video. And if you have questions for the doctor for next week, please leave them in the comments below. We're very, very lucky that we have one of the only doctors in the world who walks the walk and talks the talk, can answer your guys' questions from personal experience and the experience of many patients he's treated. Thank you, Dr. George. Doing great work here. And guys, thank you all for watching. We'll see you right here again next week on Ask Dr. Testosterone. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.